What's up, Sky Squad? We are back in this good building here, y'all. We are back in the building. And we got to talk about some things. We got to talk about some things. But you know what? First things first. Sunday morning, y'all. Sunday morning. Happy Sunday fun day to my people out there. I see y'all. Now, today, okay, we got a little mystery to solve. We got a couple of mysteries to solve. Benita, thank you so much for the super chat. Benita says, good morning, Richie. Mississippi is in the house. Happy Sunday morning. God loves. Yes, amen. We got a couple of mysteries to solve. Y'all ready to solve some mysteries? Okay, y'all ready to solve some mysteries? We're going to get into the mysteries. Now, the question of the day is, what do these three people have in common? Okay, I want you to answer me. Riddle me this. What do these three people have in common? Okay, now the second part of that mystery is, how are these three people connected? Okay, I just got some questions for y'all. How are these three people connected? All right. Ooh, I feel like charade. Ooh. I think somebody hit the nail on the head on that first one, okay? So first things first, we're going to talk about what these three ladies have in common. And I'm saying ladies, and I'm using that term, just because I feel like Jeffree Star can, refer to himself as a herself or a himself. Okay, so I'm not trying to be facetious or anything with that. I'm just trying to be respectful of the pronouns. Okay, and then we're going to talk about these three as well. All right, now let's get into some things. Before we do that, who is in the house? Drop your location down in the good chatterization. Drop yourself into the chatterization. Drop your location down into that good chat. I want to see where y'all watching from. We got St. Louis. We got Virginia Beach. Who else we got up in here? Who else we got up in the building? We got St. Louis up in the place. San Antonio, Texas, San Jose, Indiana, Mississippi, Jamaica, Nigeria, Memphis, DC listening, San Francisco, Sacramento, Zimbabwe, okay, Birmingham, Prairieville, Trinidad and Tobago, okay, who else? Zimbabwe, Chicago, Antigua, Chicago, Sacramento, Charlotte, ATL, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Palm Beach, Florida. Hey, we got Val White, good morning from the SIP. Okay, come on, the SIP. Fayetteville, Tallahassee, the Netherlands, Baton Rouge, Arlington, Texas, Holland, Amsterdam. Yo, we got all our people in the house today. Let's get into the chat, okay? First things first, we're going to get into these three people, okay? Now, here's what we have. All three of these people are wearing red lipstick. Why does this matter, you say? Why does this matter? Well, apparently the red lips caused a whole lot of drama yesterday, okay? Between your girl Tanya and your girl Eva, mostly on behalf of Eva. Now, how did this all come about? You might be asking. Okay, well, let me go ahead and break it on down for you. Now, our friends over at the Real Housewives of ATL, the Total T, okay? Make sure you guys are following on the gram, okay? So honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth. This was one of those appreciation posts. You know what I'm saying? And I love these types of posts because it's just a fun thing to do. And so what essentially happened was they posted and said, a bold red lip has never hurt anyone. Happy Friday, peeps, okay? Now, Jeffree Star has nothing to do with this situation. It has, Jeffree Star has more to do with the second situation. It was just a commonality about the red lip, okay? So that's how that was introduced into this story. So follow me here as we go along. So there's this appreciation post. Both ladies are looking good. You know, they got the red lips going. I thought that there was nothing wrong with this. You know, I thought that this was a nice post, right? So hold on. We got more coming because this turned into a whole drama, okay? A whole drama from Miss Eva the Diva, okay? Here's what happened. So Eva had then got a hold to this post and said, please don't post us together ever. Not my cup of tea or coffee. Don't let my proper red lip confuse you. There is no relational or comparison, period. And so the people were like, now, wait a minute. Wait a minute here. What in the world is going on with Eva and Tanya? I guess I was getting tagged on this left and right. I'm trying to figure out how an appreciation post for two beautiful ladies, okay, turned into Eva going off about the comparison when there was no comparison. There was no It was like out of nowhere. And all I could think of, what in the world did Tanya do to Eva? I guess it didn't make sense. So I'm trying to figure out, like, how did this appreciation post turn into all that? Like, because this was a major clapback. And so the Real Housewives of ATL, the Total T, responded back and said, hey, you know, we definitely wasn't comparing. We just think you both look great in your red lipsticks. I mean, so it was, you know, definitely a, just an appreciation post. So apparently I can't find the post. I can't find the Eva's comment anymore because I think she deleted it, because under here we have hashtag post and delete. So I guess maybe Eva caught wind that people were commenting under her comment, and maybe she, felt like she needed to delete it, or maybe she had said too much. I don't really know what the case may be, but this is kind of crazy to me because Tanya, while I feel like she may have found herself some kind of way wrapped up in the Bolo situation, whether she was in it or not, I felt like, Tanya really don't bother nobody like that. I mean, Tanya just seemed like a real nice, chill girl, right? So LaShawn, thank you for the super chat, who says Eva is so extra. Somebody give her a plum, please. Thank you for the super chat. So I guess I just didn't get it. It didn't make sense to me because I feel like, now here's the thing. This is the Eva that we needed to see on the show, okay? Quiet as it's kept. But I just kind of feel like, where was this coming from? And why so much energy for someone who really don't bother nobody, and for a person who was just showing appreciation and love to both of the ladies, rocking the same lip color? I guess it didn't make sense to me. If you guys have any thoughts on this, let me know, because I'm just trying to figure out, like, what is the tea here? Why she's so upset about it? Is she upset about it because she feels like, Tanya got herself wrapped up in the Bolo story, in some kind of way, and she don't want to be mixed up with that? Is that it? I mean, what's the real tea? I don't know. So let's move on real quick, because I'm not gonna hold y'all, because it's Sunday. You know what I'm saying? It's Sunday, y'all. It's Sunday. So let's go on. Let's talk about this situation. Okay. Now, this is the real situation with that good Jeffree Star. Okay. Now, I'm sure Jeffree somewhere is sitting around thinking, how did I get myself wrapped up into this situation? And I'm sure y'all might be wondering, how is Jeffree Star wrapped up into this situation as well? Okay, well, let me tell you. So I know a lot of you guys have probably seen Adam Ali's response to LaToya's video. He did a live, but then he went back and he did a, like a proper video on YouTube about the incident, right? So in that video, he basically said he felt like the two of them had been paper cutting him for a long time. And so now he's finally speaking out. One of the things that he ended up saying was that there was a video where LaToya and Von, were doing a video. And I think the video title was maybe He Bought Me Diamonds or something like that. Anyway, he claims that the Rolex that was allegedly bought by Von for LaToya was actually bought by LaToya, and they allegedly lied about it in the video because he said he received her credit card statement or the receipt for the Rolex to his house, to the main house. So she allegedly sent the receipt to the right address. She sent it to the old address. So that was that. And then the next thing you know, Adam was making a connection between Jeffree Star and Von in some way, shape, or form. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Von is the dude that LaToya is now dating, and they have their whole YouTube channel together. You guys can follow their journey on their YouTube page. And so it seemed as though Adam was trying to suggest that that good Von was some type of escort, and then he connected him to Jeffree Star via photos and text receipts or some type of way or something like that. And I was just like, I didn't really get it. I guess in the evidence there was some photos or something like that in which they were in a similar location. I don't really know. I felt like it wasn't that clear to me, but I just was feeling like it's a whole lot of accusations flying. And I guess the thought is that maybe he's trying to prove that the man likes men and women. I don't know. What I do know is, listen, if LaToya like it, I love it. Okay. Because who am I to judge, right? I mean, who am I to judge? But I also kind of feel like they need to go ahead and probably leave Real Housewives of Atlanta at this point. Mostly because I kind of feel like this whole drama is a little too much. Okay. It's a little too much for me, right? A little too much. I think that, this is not what I was expecting LaToya to bring to the show when I was initially told that she was going to be a part of the franchise. And I don't like the way it's all turning out. And the reason I say that is because I feel like now I don't know what to believe about her and the story. And I just feel like it's all a little too much for me. It's all a little too much for me. I mean, Adam alleges that LaToya is doing the clout chasing. Okay. And LaToya is now saying, if you guys look on her YouTube page, well, not her YouTube, her Instagram, she says that she is no longer commenting on the situation. Okay. Tracy Chappell says she's given a lot of mess for $1,000 per episode. Okay. And a lot of this stuff is not even happening on the episodes. It's happening on YouTube and on social media. She says that she's no longer speaking about the situation. She says that she's told her truth, and that's all she's going to be doing. Okay. Now, moving forward, thank you, Angel White, who sends a super chat and says, when all else fails, someone on Real Housewives of Atlanta goes to the accusations of someone manhood, time to go. Yeah, I just kind of feel like it's just a little too much in every direction. And I feel like they both hurt their brands by bringing this stuff with their relationship to the public. And I get that they want to defend themselves against each other, but I also feel like at a certain point in time, you should maybe just let your lawyer handle this, right? Because that's what attorneys do. Philly Diva says, let's say what Adam said is true. Is he sex worker shaming or trying to say it's wrong to be with bisexual men? I didn't like that. Yeah, I guess that's the thing too, is like, I don't like the whole notion of saying that, you know, someone is, you know, sexuality to me, I just feel like it's one of those things that I don't like to touch, and not just sexuality, but who someone chooses to sleep with. In this day and age, I feel like we need to be evolved enough to start recognizing that what people do in their bedrooms is their own business. That's it. That's it. And I don't know. I just don't like none of it at this point, to be honest with you. And I just feel like when it starts to get to this place, it's not really doing any good for the show. And I don't think it's doing any good for their individual brands. You know, for Adam, I feel like, you know, he has a whole fitness sort of lifestyle brand that he is, you know, that he builds. And I feel like this is all a distraction from that. And I feel like with LaToya, you know, I'm assuming she was more lifestyle, you know, somewhat fitness and stuff like that, and couples type stuff. It looks like what they're doing now. And I think just leave each other alone. Y'all divorced at this point. Always says Georgia Peach, if Real Housewives brings her back, I have to seriously reconsider the whole show. Cringe. I like what you're stating here, always says Georgia Peach, because it's all cringy right now, right? It's all cringeworthy, because I just kind of feel like we're all just kind of sitting here like watching it go down, and we're just like, what do y'all want us to do about this? What y'all want us to do with this information? You know what I mean? Because it ain't like, here's the thing. It ain't like this is Kenya Moore and Mark Daly going at it like this. We would all be a lot more interested and invested, right? It ain't like it's Kandi and Todd going at it like this. We would all still be a lot more interested and invested. Like, what in the world is going on here? You know, it ain't Porsha and Dennis. It ain't Mike and Cynthia. It ain't Nene and Greg. And I guess what I'm saying is those are couples that we're all really invested in. And so if they were doing something like this, obviously it's like, whoa, what are you doing? But it's like, we just getting to know y'all, and y'all giving us all this right now. It's a little much. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? It's too much too soon. We ain't invested in y'all like that. We're not. So it's kind of like we just getting to know y'all, and y'all bringing this to the table right now. I'm gonna probably have to close the door on it. So I don't really think that I mean, beyond today's story on it, you know, I don't really feel like it's healthy for any of us to continue to watch or really comment on that relationship in that way, because I feel like it was toxic for both of them. And they would both just do better to leave it alone. Stop talking about each other. You know what I'm saying? Move on. And the next time somebody does say something, send over your lawyer with a nice cease and desist, and keep it moving. Because y'all dragging us into this mess and we don't know y'all like that. Okay? We don't know y'all like that. And we are all at this point side-eyeing y'all and saying, hey, stop it. Can y'all stop? Because, y'all got kids and it's getting a little, low. Even honestly, the crazy thing about it is, even if y'all look at the whole Sweetie and Quavo situation, they got in the mud for like a hot second. Then they put out statements and stuff like that. And now it's kind of just creeping into the music a little bit. But they both put out these statements. We went our separate ways. Because guess what? All of this stuff is a distraction from what you're really trying to do. Beef, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. While it always looks good on the surface or it looks fun, everybody's all up into it, this type of beef don't make no money. It does not make money. It doesn't. So unless you're keeping it within the context of the show and you keeping it going that way, but this thing ain't even on the show. You're not going to make no money. Like, this ain't where the bag at. The bag ain't here. If anything, this is how you fumble a bag. So I also think that, and I saw some people saying that, each party had to defend themselves against accusations. I would tell you, no. Here's the thing. You're right, Rashida. It could make money on YouTube, but that's a short run situation, right? So you got to look at the longevity of what you're trying to do with your brand, right? So it may make you a couple of dollars here in the beginning, but what it does is it taints your brand and it starts to make people look at like sponsors. They're the type of people that do sponsors work, right? So you have lifestyle people who are influencers and stuff like that. And if I'm Maybelline or if I'm, Bang energy drink or whatever, I don't want to invest my money in you because you might have made $1,000 here talking about your ex, but I don't want that associated with my brand when it's time to offer you $10,000 to $30,000 sponsorships. Why would I do that? And I'm not saying that they losing anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a possibility that you would lose it because that type of stuff don't pay. And the follow-up statement to that is, for Adam, he didn't even monetize his video. So he wasn't even interested in making no money off of it. So I just kind of feel like, which I respect it, but at the same time, I'm just looking at the long term of both of their brands. And even though I don't feel like I know them that well, I want them to win. So let's curb all of this. And yes, people do have a right to defend themselves, but not at the expense of your own business. And again, this is why I say this is what lawyers are for. Get your attorney on the line, and then you send over a cease and desist and ask for retractions or whatever the case may be. Because at that point in time, you're messing with my business. And that's what they're doing to each other. Sherry, thank you for the super chat. Sherry says, congratulations on your nuptials. Check your cash out. Oh, thank you so much. I did get a cash out. Come on, Sherry. Thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you, love. Hey, I appreciate that. So yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the brand in the long run, and then I look at Real Housewives in the long run. Reggie asked a good question. Richie, if you was in that kind of situation, how would you solve or fix it? I think that if I was Adam, again, I would have to utilize my lawyer to send over a cease and desist with regards to that, because I just feel like, he has a fairly healthy brand on YouTube and on Instagram, and I feel like all of this seems to be a distraction for him. If he feels like it's not true. As far as LaToya, if she feels like she's telling her truth, then I feel like she has a right to do that. And I can't say, it's hard for me to say, I would never want to tell a woman or a man that they don't have a right to speak about their experiences with any type of abuse. I can't say that. I feel like if you this is what you feel like is your truth, then you should tell your truth. But if you feel like you're on the receiving end of it, and if you feel like it's false, I feel like you then handle it, the legal way. And again, the problem is that, this is a married couple and they had a obviously complex and toxic situation. So I think that ultimately they both need to seek counseling for the damage that was done on both parts in that relationship. And I am personally just the type of person that I feel like if I have an issue, especially one that's a relationship issue, I handle those things in private. Just as a grown man at this point, I just feel like when you have those types of issues, you should seek help, seek therapy. That's how you deal with those things. Personally, that's my assessment. But if a person wants to tell their story to the world because they maybe feel like it's going to help somebody, then they have that right to do so. So it's a tricky situation because you're looking at two very different accounts of their relationship. And it's hard for us because it's like, well, we don't know what to do because I feel like we the kids stuck in the middle. And we're not, because obviously the kids could have it worse. But I feel like we are just like, we don't know what to do with this information. I don't know. And then where does it all go? Is this being brought back for next season? I don't know. And so, just to recap, we had the Jeffree Star scenario here simply because of the red lip. That was it with that connection. And then we had the Jeffree Star connection here because Adam implied that there was a connection between Vaughn and Jeffree Star. Okay. So that's how we had that connection, just to wrap it all up with a nice little bow. It's crazy. Do we think that we'll see LaToya again next season on the Real Housewives of Atlanta? I don't think so. I don't know that she'll be interested in coming back to the show. But I don't know that the producers will be interested in featuring LaToya. I can't see them. If they do, I can't see them offering her more than $1,000 or $1,500 per episode. And that's no disrespect to her. But if they're only doing $1,500 now and you did all this, girl, we could have got you for $500 per episode. Okay. And you was going to bring all this noise. Come on now. You working essentially for free. Mary Cole, I hope they heal in private. I hope they do too. And I think that's what's needed. I think that's what's needed, that they need to take some time away from the spotlight, like in this, and just heal, because they both need it. They both need it because they both need to, if anything, they both need to heal so that they can co-parent those kids together. Mark said 1,000 per episode. I'll do it. But I think $1,000 per episode, let me say this, for a first season, it's not that it's bad. But what that means is that, when you go into a show like this, you leverage that first season into a second season. And you don't sell your soul for that first season. You gotta play your cards right and be strategic. Get in there, stir up enough drama to keep yourself interesting, make enough allies so that you have people to film with for next season. And that way you secure your spot that way. Because what Marlo has done smartly is every season she will have a main friend to film with. So whether or not that is going to be Porsha or Kenya, she's gonna anchor herself to one of the power players on that show. So Marlo is doing it the smart way. Marlo has done it the smart way ever since Marlo started on this show. Okay? So whether you like Marlo or not, I saw somebody say it. She overplayed her hand. LaToya overplayed her hand. That was what she did. We had a super chat. Thank you so much. Congratulations to your marriage. I appreciate you. Thank you. And so let's say you're making $1,000 per episode. So you cause enough drama and you cause enough chaos but you also make enough friends and allies that they invite you back and they need you next season. And so then that $1,000 goes up to $3,000 or $4,000 per episode. Okay. So now you got some bargaining and some leverage. Like, I got relationships with the girls. I got authentic relationships. And y'all know I'm gonna bring some drama when needed. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still likable by the audience. And quiet as kept, that was Tanya too. Tanya did a good job of, I'm mixing it up. I'm a nice girl, but I'm still mixing it up, whether I like it or not. I'm being mixed up in this whole situation. And people were intrigued enough by her personality and they found it refreshing. So then they, the audience gravitates to her. They like her. They gravitate to Marlo. They like her. Let's bring her back next season. So every season you get a little bit more money. Okay. And LaToya was in a position where, just like Sutton on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Sutton caused enough chaos first season. She was supposed to hold a diamond, but guess what? The ex wouldn't let her show the kids, right? So she caused enough drama first season and people liked her well enough. She was polarizing enough that this coming season, I don't know whether the ex signed off on the kids appearing or not, but they've allegedly made her into a diamond holder. Okay, so now she's a full cast member. That could have been LaToya. That could have been LaToya's angle. So it's about how you play your cards when you get in that position. So sometimes you may take a L on the front end, okay? And the $1,000 may not be a lot, but you got a bigger goal in mind. So you should always be thinking about what your next is, what your next opportunity is going to be, and you should always act accordingly. So you have to watch how people move in those situations. And I just feel like she didn't move the chess pieces the right way. I feel like she just knocked the pieces off the chessboard and said, I'm going to do what I want to do. So unfortunately, that's the situation that we have here now playing out in front of our eyes at this very moment. And it's kind of like, girl, how did you fumble this like that? And maybe they will ask her back. I don't know. But she seems a little off brand. She seems more like another brand than this. We have a super chat. Reggie says, thank you so much for the super chat, Reggie. Thank you. Says LaToya is just very messy and stirs the pot and needs to go. Thank you for that. I had another question up here. Reggie, we appreciate you. RJ Renee says, do you think that that's why Marlo wanted to be friends with Kenya all of a sudden to stay relevant? I think that Marlo is just a smart player. And a part of me feels like it's probably a relief to not have to argue with Kenya, and because they've been doing it for so long. And for the purposes of continuing and moving forward in the storyline, I feel like she did the right thing, right? Because y'all know in real life, when you've been beefing with somebody for so long, at a certain point in time, aren't you just over it? I feel like that was part of it. But I also feel like she aligned herself with Kenya on the Bolo front as well, to sort of make the storyline happen and make things pop with Porsha. Let's see what kind of reaction we get out of her. And unfortunately, it wasn't something that Porsha liked, right? So that's that. So what do I think it was to stay relevant? Maybe not to stay relevant, but I think she made a smart play for herself, okay, as a friend on the show. And we see here, Carla P says, but Sutton got some serious bags and connection. LaToya for never got it. you're right. Sutton does have a lot of connections. Sutton is very connected to money. You know, and she's fascinating. She has a fascinating life. But LaToya had an opportunity to provide insight into the influencer community on the show. And that's something that we haven't really seen on a Housewives show like this. So if she had played her cards right, you know, she could have shown what type of bag that was and what that lifestyle was like. You know what I'm saying? Working with brands, photo shoots, and working with a team and stuff like that. I feel like that could have been fascinating. You know, could have been. Dina says Bravo did not bring back Giovanna, so they don't have to bring LaToya back. That's true as well. Sutton is a cast member on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills, the trailer is supposed to be coming out this week, and we're going to cover Beverly Hills on this channel once it comes out, because I know a lot of you guys are invested in that show as well. And for those of you guys who are not, it'll be a good time for you to maybe catch on once we start doing our reviews. Bernice, you know I love Miss Bernice hit the nail on the head and said, Marlo is playing chess and LaToya is playing checkers. And that is a very, very good assessment. And again, I don't dislike LaToya on the show. I feel like if she had just played it a little cooler, right, she could have really made a mark on the show, right? We'll have to see how it goes, though. C. Juliana says, sorry to bring this back up, but if Adam was claiming to have LaToya's Rolex receipt, doesn't that mean he opened her mail? See, this is why I have discussions online with y'all, because y'all be thinking about things that I don't even always pick up on. And I didn't even think about that. You ain't supposed to open up nobody else's mail. Daniel said, dun dun dun. Now, this is a good question. Keisha Miller says the difference between Sutton and LaToya is maturity. Do we really need a younger cast? That's a very good question, too. You know, I'm going to say this, and I don't want it to sound like reverse ageism, but I kind of like when the cast members are 40s and 50s. You know why? I feel like a lot of these ladies are a lot more, the shade is a little classier, right? The shade is a little more designing women, and Blanche Devereaux from Golden Girls. I know that's a little further in age, but I feel like the shade is a little more high class. And sometimes I feel like when you skew, a lot younger, you run the risk of, on a Housewives show, it turning more into like maybe like just a different show. So I kind of feel like but sometimes it's good to mix in someone who is much younger with someone who's a little older to see how those relationships flourish. For example, when you look at the dynamic between Ashley Darby and Karen Huger on the Real Housewives of Potomac, what you find is a very fiery and feisty dynamic. So sometimes it works, right? But then sometimes we can see where the maturity level doesn't lend itself to the pre-existing dynamics of the group. You get what I'm saying? MJ says, save the younger cast for Love and Hip Hop. Boom. You hit. I was trying to think of something else that would resonate with people. Diane Carroll from Dynasty. That's the type of, it gives Dynasty vibes, right? Where you got these women who are, established and, they've, kind of got more life experiences. So that level of shade hits different than someone who's a little younger who ain't got the wisdom to give you that same level of high-end shade. Does that make sense? Darnell, yes. They're better with a little more seasoning. Okay? A little more seasoning. I need old money, right, Tracy? I need that old money. And that's why people do, right, Michelle? That's why people live for Karen, because she sits back in that confessional chair and she's got her little cup with her and she delivers shade like she's sitting on a throne, okay? And that's what we like. That's what we like. Ooh, seasoning equals organic. Y'all are hitting it. Y'all are hitting it right here. That's what y'all are hitting it. Rainbow, real money and real wives. That's what we want. That's what we want. Yes, mature shade takes tact. Young shade is just throwing insults. That's what I'm talking about. You know, and so then when we watch that mature shade, we don't feel right. It's natural. We don't feel like, why y'all gotta go so low with that? When Karen, I'm gonna tell you who has a good dynamic. Karen and Giselle, it gets no better than the two of them shading each other because, you know, for the most part, but I feel like Giselle can kind of take it can get a little dirty with it. But I feel like Karen knows how to keep it in that ballpark of we right here with it. And when they argue, we feel like, oh, we watching a boxing match and they're going to, you know, at the end of the day, they just going to both leave the room. Nura says, ain't nobody knowing about Dynasty. Let me tell you something. When we get off the line, and maybe we could do this in a watch along one day or something, I don't know. But when we get off the line, Google some clips of Diane Carroll. And what was that other lady's name that she used to always beef with on that show? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Oh my God. Was it Alexis? Alexis Carrington, Diane Carroll's character and Alexis Carrington, when they would go at it, it was just like, oh, yes, the best punchlines. That's what we want on these shows, right? California Cutie says, great discussion as per usual. Hit the like button. Sky Squad, love you, Richie. We love you too. We love you too, boo. Alexis Carrington, that's who it was. Joan Collins' character. Dominique Devereaux, that's who it was. So when you get off the line, if you're not familiar with Dynasty and if you're not familiar with the type of shade that we're talking about, that's okay, because it was a lot before a lot of people's time. But what you can do is just go on YouTube, look up some clips with Dominique Devereaux and Alexis Carrington or old clips from Dynasty, and you'll see the type of shade that we are all looking for that classic Housewives usually gives us, right? So anything on Dynasty, Alexis versus Dominique, look up some clips, and they'd be short clips on YouTube, right? And the shade is so, it's like, that's when you've been shaded and you didn't, did I just get read? I think I was just read. Somebody just read me. Dallas, yep. Who else was good at that? Phaedra was really, really good at that type of shade. She was really, really good at that. It was that Southern Belle shade. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want on these shows, because we want to leave and we still want to feel good when we finish watching the show. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I just don't, when we look back at these moments on Housewives, I don't think we realize how good we had it, you know, back in the day when it was that level of shade, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes now I just feel like it just gets so low and it gets so desperate feeling that we just kind of leave feeling like, yeah, the episode was good, but it just ain't hitting, you know? First season, Katie was another. Now, Katie was a more on the young side, but Katie could give it. Katie could give it. Yes. Chevelle, I love the reads that has to make you think if you just got read. Like, did that just happen to me? What? Yep. Shade that you can laugh at. That's what we're talking about. Shade that you can laugh at. Mm-hmm. That's what we need. That's what we need more of. Bling Empire shade. Bling Empire. They was those two Anna and I cannot remember was it Christine? Anna and the other chick. They went back and forth at it like it was funny. It was funny how they did it. Golden Girl shade. Yep. Mm-hmm. Jedi mind trick shade. Angel White, that Sunday church hat lady shade. Yep. Thank you for the super chat, boo. That's what we want. That's what we want. It was Christine. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, right. I wish it was a reality show too. So yeah. Oh, Falcon Crest. Yes. Some Erica Kane shade. Yep. Naomi Campbell. Y'all. Yep. Florence from the Jeffersons. Yep. Mm-hmm. What was it? Is Jamal coming? Shady. Just shady. Designing women. Yep. Shade with a smile. So yeah. I think we've come to some nice conclusions today. We've come to some nice conclusions that, you know, this situation, I can't really talk about the whole that situation no more. So I'm gonna leave that alone moving forward. My apologies if I got the Jeffree Star pronouns wrong, but you know, I was just trying my best to make sure I described the situation accurately. Richard, did you see I tagged you in on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills information? I didn't. So let me go back and check my tags. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, yes. That's what I like, man. Thank you for bringing us back to clean shade, but still shady. You know. Thank you, Danielle. I appreciate you. Oh, yes. That 227 Sandra shade. Yes. Amen. Amen. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys taking out some time on your Sunday to you know, just have a chat. And y'all know I love y'all's input, which is another reason why I felt like this is an amazing community for me. Thank you for the super chat. Beverly says, shade that you don't realize till a week. Yes. You don't even you be like, now wait a minute. Last Monday, I felt like, you know what? That's what we need. Again, thank you guys for tuning in today on a Sunday. I appreciate you, you know, getting down and having a discussion with us. We always start in one place and end up in a completely different place. And I love that. Y'all make my day every time. Anyway, Knots landing. Okay. Anyway, y'all enjoy y'all Sunday. Make sure to watch Real Housewives of Atlanta tonight at 9 p.m. on 8 p.m. on Bravo, and then watch Married to Medicine as well at 9. Oh my God. And yes, absolutely. Rest in peace, DMX. So sad. That's been a difficult one for me to deal with because, you know, I used to listen to a lot of hip hop. I still do. I don't like hip hop as much right now because I feel like it's a little different. But I feel like DMX was like that classic that you could just and for those of y'all who know, you know what I'm saying? Get at me, dog. Like those was that's real hip hop to me. Like that's when we, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know, I know because I'm familiar with some of y'all and how some of y'all respond to things. I know some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. So for a lot of us, it hit real different. And I've been trying to understand how to process it. And I didn't post anything about it because I just been in this space of like, how do we start to celebrate some of our legacy or classic acts more? How do we begin to do that? Because a lot of times it seems like when they pass, everybody jump on the bandwagon. And I know everybody wants to celebrate, the music and the legacy of a DMX. But I just want to think of like, how do we take time out to celebrate, people before they pass? So I just been, thinking about that a lot over the past, day or so. And trying to reconcile the fact that, okay, like this man made history in a lot of ways. His first 5 albums topped the Billboard charts. Like, that's major. Yeah. Thank God for Burruss, because if he got his flowers while they were still here. And I think that's one of the ways that we as a community, especially during the pandemic, found to get through the pandemic, but also celebrate, some of our classic legends and heroes and artists before it's too late. And I hope that we can all come together and do more of that. So, yeah, man, it's hard. It's been a rough, mentally, it's been a little bit of a challenge dealing with that, for me personally. Just because I feel like that's the era that I grew up in, and I don't know, man. It's hard. It's real hard. Yeah, it was a pure celebration. Oh my God. I check my inbox. I will. Tracy, thank you for the super chat. 2022. I'm going to see my favorites from 10 plus years ago. Yeah. And then you read stories on like Instagram about people that ran into him, and I'm just like, wow, like you get so many different insights on, on people and whatnot. So, I guess we just need to try to give people their flowers while they're still here, celebrate them when we can, take part in these versus battles and really celebrate with everybody, because we all know what that feeling was when a DMX song came on, on the radio or in the club. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the super chat. Sada says we lost so many celebrities like Heavy D, Michael Jackson, Aaliyah, and Lisa left out Lopez, Bobby, Junior Whitney Houston, Bobby Christina. So we just got to make sure we do what we can to celebrate our people, across the cultures, and keep them in prayer when we know that they are, in the hospital, and we don't, and it's okay if you don't know what to post, or if you don't post, that's okay. That's okay, because everybody memorializes and celebrates people in their own different ways. So, I don't know, man. So I'm glad somebody mentioned that, because I hadn't even known how to even approach the subject with y'all. Like, how do I even talk about it? Because I didn't know. I still haven't processed it for myself, But anyway, that's that. Y'all make sure y'all tune into Real Housewives of Atlanta tonight, Married to Medicine tonight. And y'all know we're going to talk about it tomorrow. But other than that, y'all have a blessed day, and y'all stay safe out there.